Alright, so in this video we're going to take a look at the single post page. Okay, so right now we have this roll of posts from our site, but that's it. We can't click on it and go to the individual posts where we would have our comments and things like that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Let's go to index.php and we're going to make the title clickable. Okay, we're going to add a link to the title. So let's go into this H3 right here. And let's add an A tag. Okay, wrap that around the title. And what we're going to put in here is very simple. We're going to say PHP the permalink. Alright, and let's save it. Reload. Now you'll see we have a link on the titles. If I click that, it takes us to that specific post. If we click on this one, that takes us to that post. Alright. Now I just want to add a little bit of style here. I don't like the color of the links. I also want to make this bold and separate these a little bit. Alright, so it's good to wrap each post in its own div. So where we have this while right under it, we'll say div. Actually, we'll put it in an article. Want that there. Put that there. And then let's add this, we'll say class equals post. Alright, and then in our style sheet, let's add that, and we'll say color will be just the same as the text. Alright, and then we can say article.post, and let's just add a border to the bottom. Okay, so now they should have a border, and that's good. Okay, now we have the title, and the title has a link, but usually you'll see some kind of read more button as well. So let's go ahead and add that. All we have to do is just copy that, put that right there. We'll give this a class of button, and then that's gonna, whoop, what am I doing? We don't want to do that. We just want to put the text here, so we'll say read more. But I do want to give this a class of button. Alright, so now we should have a link that goes there as well. Okay, so in here we'll say article.post A, and actually it's going to be a.button. And then what I'm going to do is just add a background. Color will be white, and padding. Let's also add margin bottom. Okay, we're going to have to put an overflow here. We'll say overflow hidden. And let's make this button, we're going to make this display as a block, as an inline block. Okay, let's take the text decoration off as well. Okay, so we can now go to the single page. Now in the single page, we don't want this to be a link, and that's kind of silly. So we want to change that, and there's going to be other things we want. We're going to want a comment form as well. So we need to have a special page for single posts. So what we can do is create a new file in our theme, and we're going to just call it single.php. Alright, and let's just say test. So if we go back here now and reload, we get test. Only on that. If we go back to our main website, our main post role here, it's fine. But if we go to a single page, we get that because it's automatically looking at this file. So what we can do is use index.php. We can use that code as a starting point. Okay, if we post that in there and save, it's going to go back to how it was. Now we can change whatever we want here, and it'll only take effect on the single page. So we can get rid of the link. Okay, we can get rid of the read more. We're obviously not going to want that. Okay, so now we have a single page. Let's make that meta, this right here. I just want to add a little bit of style to that. Actually, let's grab this. There we go. Okay. Actually, I want some padding on the bottom of the post. I'm not trying to go nuts with the styling because, like I said, I just want you guys to to learn the code rather than how to create a great design. We'll be getting into that later. So what I want to do next is I want to show you how to add an image to the post, a featured image. Now if we go to the form to add a post and you look on the right side, you don't see a featured image box, which you may have seen in other WordPress themes or other WordPress websites. The reason for that is we didn't include that functionality. So what we need to do is go into our theme folder and we're going to create a file and we're going to save it as functions.php. Okay, and this is where we can put custom functions. This is where we can hook into certain parts of the code. We can register widgets and do all that. Basically anything dynamic. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create a setup function. Okay, so we'll say function simple theme setup. Okay, and you can call this whatever you'd like actually. And in here, let's say featured image support. Okay, so we want to use a function called add theme support. And then we want to pass into here post thumbnails. Alright, now this function isn't going to run just if we leave it like this. What we need to do is we need to use add action, and then there's certain hooks that we can hook into and run this function. So the one that we want is called after setup theme. Okay, so we're going to put that in here, after setup theme, and then the second parameter will be the name of this function. Alright, so that'll run. We'll save it, and now if we go back and reload this page, now you'll see down at the bottom we have a featured image box. Alright, so if we click that, we can go ahead and upload files. And let's see, you should have some blog images in your program files. I'm going to choose blog 1. And we're going to save that, and you can see it's down here, and we can update. Now if we go to the front end and reload, we're not going to see it yet because we didn't add it to our index.php file. Okay, so let's go to index.php, and you don't have to show it in index. You could just show it in single if you want, but usually you want it to show on both pages. So in index.php, let's just put it right below the meta. Alright, and it's not going to look too great at first, but we'll fix that later on. So let's go right under the meta div. And what we want to do is check to see if there's an image first. Okay, so we can use if statement. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to say if has post thumbnail. Okay, so if there's a thumbnail, then let's create a div. We'll give it a class of post thumbnail. And in here we just want to say PHP the post thumbnail. Save it, go back, reload, and there it is. Now it looks a little out of whack because it's not reaching 100% across the page, but we're actually going to put a sidebar in here in a little bit when we get to the widgets, so it'll look a lot better when we do that. Alright, but I am going to add a width of 100% in the CSS. Okay, so we have this class post thumbnail. So let's go into our style sheet and we'll add that. So the image, we want width to be 100%. And then let's do height auto. Alright, so now it reaches across the whole page, and I know that's really big, but like I said, we'll get a sidebar in here and it'll shrink that up a little bit. Alright, now we also want the image on this page. This is the single post page. So we're going to copy this and go into single.php and put it in the same place right under the meta. Alright, so now we get it on the single page as well. Now the last thing I want to do in this video is notice that in these posts on the index page it shows all the content. So if this was really long, it would show right here, and we don't want that. We want just a piece of the content to show. So what we can do is, instead of saying, let's go to index.php, and instead of saying the content, we can actually say the excerpt. Alright, and what that'll do is it'll cut the content to, I think it's 55 words. Alright, and you can actually customize that and make it as long or as short as you want. And that's actually really easy. We can go into functions PHP and create a custom function. Okay, so we'll just say set excerpt length. Oh, I forgot to put the word function. And all we need to do here is just return a number. So let's say we wanted it to be 25. Alright, and then what we can do is, instead of add action, we're going to say add filter, because add action is usually used to add something or create something. Add filter is usually used to change something. So the filter we want to hook into here is called excerpt length. Okay, and then we just want to put in the name of our function, which is set excerpt length. And now if we go back and reload, now you can see it's only 25 words long. Alright, I actually want it a little longer. Let's say 60. Okay, so I really didn't need to do that, but I just wanted to show you that that's possible. Alright, so we have our index page set up. We have our single post page set up. Aside from the comments, we're going to do that a little later. But in the next video, I'm going to show you how we can create a menu and we can start dealing with pages as well as posts.